Norse loyalty is often pictured as permanent, yet a gift could expose how conditional allegiance remained. A ring, weapon, garment, or share of silver carried different meanings across unequal relationships. No surviving object identifies the precise promise once attached to it. Later poetry celebrates generous lords because reward was central to elite ideals. The same praise also warns us that literary generosity was designed to enhance a patron's reputation. Gift-giving controlled loyalty only when repeated exchange supported credible protection and future opportunity. Its limits reveal more about power than any glittering object alone. The word gift sounds voluntary, but early medieval exchange rarely stood outside obligation. Receiving could acknowledge rank, invite reciprocity, settle tension, or mark entry into service. Refusal might protect independence, deliver an insult, or signal allegiance elsewhere. Meanings depended upon occasion, audience, relationship, and local custom. Because private intentions vanished, historians reconstruct the system through converging material and written traces. Arm rings, neck rings, brooches, ingots, coins, and hacked silver circulated through northern communities. Some pieces were worn intact, while others were cut and weighed. This flexibility let the same material perform display, payment, storage, and redistribution. A patron could make portable wealth visible before transferring it. The recipient then carried evidence of access to a resourceful relationship. Yet archaeology seldom proves whether a particular ornament was purchased, inherited, exchanged, or awarded. Context narrows possibilities without restoring the social script. Hoards complicate the picture because deposited wealth stopped participating in observable exchange. Some hoards were probably concealed for recovery, while other deposits may have held ritual meaning. Their composition nevertheless shows silver arriving from multiple monetary and non-monetary traditions. Islamic dirhams, Western coins, and Scandinavian ornaments could share one assemblage. Such mixtures reveal networks of conversion where foreign value became locally usable wealth. Coins usually traveled through many hands rather than documenting one owner's complete journey. Control began when movable riches entered a leader's circle and became divisible. A spectacular gift could distinguish a prominent follower, while smaller shares compensated broader participation. Unequal rewards created hierarchy among recipients as well as dependence upon the giver. Witnesses learned who stood nearest the patron through the quality and timing of distribution. It bound the recipient while ranking competitors within the same following. Skaldic praise preserves this political language with unusual intensity. Poets called rulers breakers or distributors of rings and treasure. These formulas celebrated generosity as proof of proper leadership. Much Skaldic verse survives through manuscripts copied centuries later, demanding caution about transmission. Some poems are considered early, but attribution and dating can remain disputed. Court poetry was never neutral reporting because praise served both poet and patron. Still, its repeated valuation of distribution matches the material importance of portable wealth. Convergence supports a system, not every anecdote attached to famous kings. Gift-giving also reached beyond warbands into marriage and kinship. Property transfers could formalize unions, compensate families, and redefine future claims. Later law codes record structured payments, though their provisions cannot be applied unchanged everywhere. Inheritance turned earlier transfers into disputes when relatives interpreted obligations differently. Women could give, receive, control, or transmit property depending on status and regional practice. Their role disappears when exchange is reduced to a lord rewarding male warriors. Rulers exchanged valuable objects, hospitality, hostages, and marriage connections. Not every transfer signified friendship, and an accepted object did not guarantee lasting submission. Frankish sources record gifts within dealings involving Scandinavian rulers and claimants. Those authors wrote from imperial institutions with their own diplomatic vocabulary. Their accounts show northern leaders seeking material and symbolic support amid succession struggles. Foreign patronage could strengthen one contender while making rivals question his independence. A gift from an emperor therefore carried prestige and political risk simultaneously. Baptismal garments, weapons, or other honors could accompany a ruler's reception at a Christian court. Harald Klak's baptism under Louis the Pious in 826 belongs to this diplomatic world. The event is comparatively well documented through Frankish sources. It did not make all Danish communities Christian, nor did imperial sponsorship secure Harald permanently. His unstable career demonstrates the limit of even magnificent external gifts. Material support could enable a claim without producing durable local recognition. Inside Scandinavia, leaders faced the same problem at smaller scales. One distribution purchased no permanent obedience if protection failed afterward. Followers needed food, legal backing, equipment, and opportunities beyond ceremonial reward. Generosity worked as part of sustained patronage rather than isolated spectacle. A leader who gave everything recklessly might impress briefly and weaken future capacity. Hoarding too much created the opposite danger by making wealth politically inactive. Effective control occupied the narrow space between scarcity and waste. Poets praised open-handedness, partly because followers feared closed storerooms. The gift also imposed memory upon its receiver. An ornament worn publicly could recall who provided it and under what circumstances. Re-gifting might extend the original patron's influence or redirect value into another relationship. Melting and cutting could erase a recognizable form while preserving the metal. Objects, therefore, had political biographies that recipients could alter. Control was real, but never complete once property changed hands. A fine sword might honor service and improve a follower's military capacity. That same capacity could later support a rival if allegiance shifted. Inscribed names on some blades usually concern makers or blade traditions, not documented patrons. Saga scenes of named weapon gifts are literary evidence unless independently supported. Their frequency reveals an enduring cultural idea. Exceptional objects made relationships narratable. Historical loyalty, however, could fracture despite every memorable blade. Exile opened another escape from a failing patronage bond. Mobile fighters and political claimants could seek service across seas or borders. Foreign courts benefited from their skills while offering alternative rewards. Movement prevented any local leader from monopolizing opportunity completely. The very network supplying gift wealth also allowed dissatisfied followers to leave. This contradiction set the boundary of gift-based control. Enslaved people were treated as property and denied the freedom implicit in reciprocal service. They could receive material provisions without becoming equal partners in patronage. Confusing coercion with loyalty romanticizes a profoundly unequal social order. Free dependents also faced pressure, debt, insecurity, and limited choices. Exchange was neither a modern wage contract nor pure personal affection. Christianization gradually introduced additional institutions for giving and obligation. Donations to churches could support commemoration, legitimacy, clergy, and claims over land. Written charters became more important in some regions after the Viking Age. These practices did not instantly replace personal distribution. They redirected gifts towards institutions capable of outlasting an individual patron. The discovery most capable of sharpening this history would join object and documented transactions securely. A contextualized inscription naming giver, recipient, occasion, and obligation would transform interpretation. Until such evidence appears, certainty belongs to the system rather than imagined conversations. Portable wealth ranked followers, advertised access, and renewed expectations through public transfer. Poetry confirms that generosity defined good lordship, while failed claimants expose its fragility. Gifts controlled Norse loyalty by making dependence rewarding, visible, and continually negotiable. They never purchased devotion forever because every reward created the expectation of another.